started. मैं क्या बोला,
तो
खुद ही बोलता था.
तो Meghnad, thank you for being here with us. But before we start today, I have to do something which we
Hmm.
missed doing in our last episode, and we were uh, told by our listeners कि क्यों नहीं किया. वो ये था कि यूजुअली गाने गाते हैं हम लोग पॉडकास्ट में,
What?
राइट? हाँ. तो
Close the
लास्ट एपिसोड में जब हम लोग ने
अंताक्षरी.
लास्ट
ये
एपिसोड में
है
जब टेलीकॉम बिल की बात
अंताक्षरी.
करी, तो हम लोग ने टेलीकॉम बिल पे हंसने वाली नहीं बोला, तो पब्लिक को बहुत बुरा लगा. तो मैंने इसलिए वहां से शुरू करता हूँ. So starting from there, how, I know you all, मतलब you always say, पता नहीं मैं इंग्लिश क्यों हो रहा है, but you always say कि
Hmm.
you have this immense trust in the lack of ability of our structures, of our people in power and people who have to implement those things. So in that light, how do you see this telecom bill thing shaping up in
एक तो
2024?
एक तो the quality of laws that they're writing is very bad. And I'm not a lawyer, but I've spoken to enough lawyers to know how annoyed they are. एक तो completely vague ass terms like obscenity and what.
Isn't that scarier? मतलब
So
मुझे ऐसा
that's the
लगता
thing. It is scary. Yes,
है.
it is very scary. I'm not trying to downplay the scary part of it, because what using vague terms in laws means is that it can be selectively used on anyone. It can be applied on anyone, any situation. Like किसी को भी तुम economic security, national security बोल सकते हो. Any situation. Like Mahua Moitra is a good example, right?
Yeah.
When Mahua Moitra got kicked because she shared her login password with someone in Dubai to file her questions, which I don't think is a big deal, but apparently it was made a big deal. But then they kicked her out because it's a threat to national security for some reason. Then this fellow Pratap Simha, who gave passes to these two fellows who came in and smoked up the parliament, he's completely fine. I said it seems like they broke 5 layers of security, smuggled in cans full of gas. It could have been anything. Again, I keep saying
कैसे
it
किया हम लोगों
fortunately it
ने?
wasn't.
Anyway,
वो जो गुजरात का वो नहीं था ऑफिसर जो क्या पीएमओ का वो करके
हाँ,
वो नहीं
कश्मीर
किरण
था क्या
में
पटेल.
थ्रेट, मतलब
किरण
हाँ
पटेल.
किरण
वो
पटेल,
कोई
हाँ.
थ्रेट नहीं था, उससे कोई थ्रेट नहीं हुआ था.
उससे कोई थ्रेट नहीं हुआ. Exactly, right? Like, so there are such bizarre examples of how this law can be applied and used specifically against your opponents. So that is the scary part, right? And it has a dual effect. One is, of course, that you're selectively applying it to sort of crush down your opponents. So there is like a chilling effect. Everybody is scared कि कब होगा, क्या होगा, कौन से सिचुएशन में होगा, कुछ पता नहीं है. क्या बोल दूंगा मैं पब्लिकली, उससे क्या laws will be used, पता नहीं है. The second is there are people like Monu Mane sir and Gurmeet Ram Rahim Singh ji Insan and this Brij Bhushan Sharan idiot who are just doing whatever the hell they want and no laws are being applied on them. So they're emboldened. So it has a dual effect that way, right? We tend to sort of focus on the first one, which is the chilling effect. The second is a lot more important, because if laws are not applied to all people equally, then they don't matter at all, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So
No, I was just saying that it is, I mean, expected, nahin? Isn't it expected that this is how it will be? Like, I don't have even an iota of doubt in me कि these laws will not be will be unequally applied and
हाँ
applied
मतलब
to,
इंटेंशन ही वही है एक्चुअली.
because
intention ही वही है. Yeah.
and
Intention.
the way they look at the world is also that, right? In the sense, उनको जो, like some of the things you say, or some, someone like Ravish type people will say, are seen as threat to this, in their idea, in their minds, to the sovereignty of India. So they will apply it that way. The problem definitely is that I just think, मैं बताता हूँ what I think. So recently, 2 दिन पहले की बात है, नॉर्थ कोरिया में एक लेडी के घर में आग लग गई. And that lady was arrested because she, in trying to save herself, she did not save the portrait of Kim Jong-un that was in her house. That's what scares me.
But how did the
कि
news get out? How did
Actually,
you?
it could be actually it could be
Yeah.
Pahari. I don't know. Abhi
Yeah,
now that I've
exactly. I was
said it, ऐसा
wondering कि
लग रहा
how
है
was
मुझे.
how did this news from North Korea get out? Exactly.
Yeah.
But you're right. The reason why I said, like I kind of
Hmm.
trust in the incompetence of our system. So you make all these laws, all these shitty laws, right? You're using them now. 10 years from now, some other government will come and use it against you. Yeah. And then you will outrage. Right. And then there'll be like this cycle of violence and suffering for a while, which is like, let's say 2 decades, whatever.
Hmm.
And after a point, someone will come in and say कि तुम लोग ना चमन लोग थे कि तुमने इतना सारा चमनगिरी होने दिया, right? And this would happen also because of the incompetence of our bureaucracy, right? So I feel like by breaking the system like this, the BJP is doing us a favor in the future. I feel like by breaking the system in so many ways, which is like parliament says suspensions, Manipur mein you're not paying any attention, no responsibility, no accountability, no press conferences done, all the plethora of things they did throughout 2023, selective application of laws, bulldozing bills through, and is selectively using them to crush opponents, ED, IT, CBI, all the things that we are seeing. They're breaking the system in so many ways that in the future, I feel like we will be smarter about this. I genuinely believe that. Because I feel like all these boomer types will die. These authoritarian loving boomer uncles, WhatsApp uncles will, I mean, naturally die. I'm
नहीं
not
बट
saying it, it's just
कभी
nature.
कभी कभी
बट
डर
मुझे
लगता है.
मुझे मिलेनियल्स और जेनजी से भी ज्यादा उम्मीद लगती नहीं है मतलब
I
थोड़ी
agree. I mean, I
थोड़ा
do
डर
agree.
लगता है
Like
मुझे
millennials are not exactly the best people, but I do feel like millennials are more empathetic than the older generation for sure.
Hopefully.
थोड़ा empathy ज्यादा है, थोड़ा सा world view भी थोड़ा expanded है, more traveled, little more privileged. So I think that way, also a little more smarter. So I have hope that way. जेनजी तो छोड़ ही दो, जेनजी तो लाइक अभी से ही मतलब इतने एंटी अथॉरिटेरियन है, इट्स क्रेजी.
The way I think about it, और मैं इसको ना ऐसे ब्रेक डाउन करने के बारे में सोच रहा हूँ, but because maybe I've never lived in that kind of world, इसलिए शायद मैं ब्रेक डाउन नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ. But when the society breaks down around you, right? When the structures break down around you, ऐसा नहीं होता है. And this is where I fail, क्योंकि I have not lived in, so this is, but ऐसा नहीं होता है कि you see things break down around you. In the sense, I mean, you like, so for example, right
ओवरनाइट
now,
नहीं होता.
हाँ, overnight नहीं होता. It's the step
Gradually.
A and step
Frog
B
in
are
boiling water.
So infinitely small कि you don't see a difference between step A and step B, and then step B and step C, and then when step D comes, you think यार step B पे मैंने कुछ नहीं बोला, तो step D पे मुझे alert होने की क्या जरूरत है, right? तो जैसे मैं अभी बोल रहा हूँ ना, and again it's maybe थोड़ा सा ऐसा सरप्राइजिंग या अनबिलीवेबल या आई डोंट नो कैसा लगता है सोचने में, बट जस्ट गो बैक टू 2014. ठीक है, एंड आई एम टेलिंग यू इन 2014 दैट मेघनाथ, व्हाट हैपेंस इज कि just imagine that 50% of the parliament has been suspended on like random charges, right? Really literally protesting about their own security, and they have been suspended about that. Okay? Imagine that there is no news channel that is on cable TV which is even slightly like combative to the regime. There is no there is no one in the judiciary who has the courage to take on the regime, so much so that any law or anything that the regime brings in, the judiciary will try and find language to support it. You know, and if you are a small independent broadcaster, today literally your situation is कि अगर कल को कोई हवलदार comes into your home, takes away your stuff, or there's a ban put on you via government request in through YouTube, you cannot expect to receive any sort of justice anywhere. It is, don't you think it is like, what exactly do you, when we say कि ऐसा dictatorship होएगा इंडिया में या होने तो what exactly is how exactly will it be more different from this?
Um, so if you told me this in 2014, I would
Hmm.
say you're crazy.
Hmm.
Because I genuinely believed in 2014 that our
Hmm.
system is resilient enough to sort of
I did.
prevent all of this, right? I was wrong. A lot of people were wrong. Yeah, a lot of people were wrong. And I feel like my brain broke in 2016, November the 8th. Again, like as you said, you haven't lived this phase. I was there when demonetization happened and the whole shit went down. And the first thing that I asked the next day was like, under what law is he doing this? But you tell me how many people would have asked that question? Very few, right? Because after I asked this question, and I was like, मेरे पास time नहीं है answer करने के लिए because मुझे भी cash exchange करना है. So I have to go stand in fucking line. And now I have to basically be there for like a week, which I was. Like 5 days के लिए I was standing in line. I saw bawals, beating up, कुछ भी हो रहा है मतलब, right? I feel like my brain started breaking during that time. And then in 2016, if you would have told me the same things, that this man, this crazy fellow who is in power now, will do such and such thing, I will like totally believe you, right? If you tell me now that he's going to turn this into a Hindu Rashtra, totally believe you. If you tell me now that he will turn this into a one-party system, absolutely. I think he will. I think genuinely there is a chance that if they come back in 2014 with a majority, we are done. We are done. The democracy is genuinely over. And we have to live through it then.
It's
पता है लेकिन होगा क्या पता है मतलब they will be there but थोड़ा सा कुछ ऐसा उसमें लोग कुछ निकाल लेंगे कुछ कि अरे वोट परसेंटेज बढ़ गया इंडिया का
of course.
all those things.
So here's the thing,
it's even more painful, I feel.
No, but Nishant, here's the thing. Like, that's where the power of narratives come in, right? Which is, if you essentially are able to spin anything in your favor, and you can do it very well and systematically, you can do anything, literally. Like, for example, this disqualification thing is just one example of it, right? 143 MPs got kicked from parliament, right? These fellows went outside and they were protesting, right? Stairs pe baith ke, they were just protesting, and TMC MP gets up and starts mimicking a speaker. Not even the chairman or the speaker, just a speaker. He's just like, you have no spine, like whatever he did, right? You know, that whole mimicry clip we saw. Now that happens. Rahul Gandhi is recording it. Some random fellow from the side is recording it. Rahul Gandhi, I think Congress also put up the clip. The whole thing, the narrative becomes about that, which is the scary part, right? If you are able to spin anything, 143,
fucking thing.
Yeah.
This is by man. Ye cheese is the thing.
But I feel like, having said that, I do have this inkling or this feeling now that people are also like seeing how the BJP sort of thinks that their audience is stupid. Because I think the BJP has started doing that a little bit.
It is.
So here's the thing. If you think the audience is stupid, sure. But when the audience realizes that they are being called stupid, that is the breaking point. I feel like we are getting there धीरे धीरे. Right now, at least I can see that Godi media को जो भी देखता था, even BJP supporters, they're extremely tired of it. They're like, नहीं होगा हमसे. So, one example, I was in Pune last week, right? I did a random poll of how many people consume news and how, right? So one was, I asked them, how many of you get your news from TV news? So I have done these polls in different events, right? And this was last week. In a gathering of 350 people, just tell me how many people raise their hands. Just guess.
अभी ऐसा बोल दिया तो फिर तो कम ही बोलूंगा मैं. 10%.
बताना.
35. 10%.
अच्छा, निशांत?
हाँ, ज्यादा तो नहीं लग रहा है. Even lesser.
1%.
Yes.
1%, a very old uncle who just raised his hand and he looked behind and he got embarrassed and he put it down. Right? It was bizarre. Okay. Instagram. I asked how many of you get your news from Instagram? Guess percentage. Just
Instagram में ज़्यादा होगा ना?
Instagram तो हाँ. What was the crowd like? Like, I mean,
350 people.
350 people were youngsters, na?
So
mostly young.
Actually, middle-aged youngsters. There was like a mixed crowd.
I will be.
But Marathi elite, I would call them.
I would say Instagram में youngsters का ज़्यादा होगा, Facebook में middle age का ज़्यादा होगा.
Passing marks देता हूँ 35%. 35% of the people.
About 20% was how much I estimated.
Oh, Instagram
YouTube.
में भी.
Yeah, Instagram 20%.
Oh, YouTube to 100%.
YouTube
very high.
Very
about
high. 70%. About 70% raised their hands, right? I genuinely feel there is this shift happening where there is A, oversaturation of A, Modi content, but B, pro-government propaganda content. And this whole spinning, right? So when there is a Ravish Kumar who is basically going there every day and telling you for 40 minutes that this is the shit going down, by the way, and there are like millions of people watching him, that has to have an effect. And I genuinely believe it will.
But that is why the telecom bill, right?
Yeah.
That is why
I do agree. Yes, yes. So Ravish will be shut down. Like a bunch of people will be shut down. Maybe for 5 years, we will not have any anti-establishment journalism. Maybe I will also go into like obscurity somewhere. That will happen. But not going to last forever.
So, we talk about like dictatorship and all that thing. Realistic, I'll tell you. We don't look around us.
But मैं थोड़ा सा उसके पहले मैं isn't it like मुझे बस वही लगता है कि especially this crackdown on digital thing logistically isn't it like impossible?
Yeah.
Like it takes like 2 minutes to create a new channel and circulate a video. Like how are they even going to do it? Like
so that's exactly it, right? So if you just look at the evolution of how the government tries to regulate communication, it's very obvious. Like
they did it with font site bans and all that. Like it doesn't work. Online में नहीं कर सकते.
उससे भी पीछे जाओ. So I'm talking about telegraph, right? So the British basically tried to regulate telegraph, which was used on the internet today. So telegraph pe their whole thing was only the Brits should be able to communicate using telegraph. They should be allowed to detain, etc. And if any Indian uses a telegraph, they will basically punish them. That was Telegraph Act, right? Subjugation ke liye. So all communications, the masters are controlling. After that, if you go to radio, after you go to television, even newspapers, emergency ke time pe you saw how newspapers were controlled. After that, you saw how radio was controlled. Doordarshan. Then in the 90s is when we get private TV news. Private TV first, then TV news in the 2000s. They tried to control that with the Cable Television Act, right? Then you go into the internet era, which is around 2011, 2012 is when more and more people start getting connections and internet becoming cheaper and accessible. The thing is, I don't think the government realized how chaotic the internet is, right? At least the UPA was completely lost, right? And that's why BJP took advantage of that chaotic thing, used it to their advantage, used the chaos to their advantage. And now they realize that they were not able to control it back then. They are still not able to control it now. But then there has to be a way in which they can do it. So they will go overboard. They will make these vague ass laws. But you're absolutely bang on when you say, how do you control the internet? It is kind of crazy to even think about it. Like, you guys know as engineers, but even if you look at it like logically, right? For example, right, this new telecom bill and this broadcast bill, they have a system, 3-tier regulation system, right? They're saying that there needs to be a committee that has to be started by every broadcaster, which will take complaints from people and they have to answer them. Okay. Imagine when you say broadcaster, it can mean anything. It can mean me, everything, but it can also mean Twitter. Now, if Twitter is a broadcaster, which is hosting all these video content, and they get complaints, they're supposed to respond to it. How many will they get in a daily basis?
Millions.
Millions. Like
Yeah,
think
yeah.
about it. Like animal agar release, yeah, छोड़ दो, animal छोड़
जय
दो.
माता दी.
जय माता दी. Like some
देखा ना वो
random
कंट्रोवर्सी
movie.
बाय द वे.
हाँ.
ये कंट्रोवर्सी क्या पता है ना?
जय
वो
माता दी
रणवीर
क्या?
कपूर वाली
Oh
ना?
yeah,
हाँ,
रणवीर
वो
वाला.
केक
हाँ,
वाला.
exactly.
हाँ.
See,
Yeah.
Ranveer wala, for example, right? So like Ranveer puts booze on a cake, lights it on fire, and says Jai Mata Di. People get outraged. Now, let's say it's hosted by a TV channel.
Yeah.
Right. Let's say it's hosted by a TV channel and they put it on their YouTube channel, whatever, right? Imagine the amount of complaints a grievance redressal officer can get. Right? Movie बोल लो, कोई भी movie बोल लो, like this Archie's shit show that is there, someone might get offended, or that oh my god 2 that is there, someone might get offended, उसको भी broadcaster बोल देंगे, कितने complaints आएंगे. So it is kind of impossible to do this. But the flip side of that is that let's say I am doing a stream, and what the BJP can do is that they can just make one person send a complaint to me. And I have to have a grievance redressal officer to answer. If I don't answer, they're like, look, broke the law, shut them down.
Yeah.
Meghnad, I will come to what I was initially saying, but I have a question. यार एक बात बताओ, कभी ऐसा हुआ, and I'm guessing हुआ है, वहां पे when you are doing your normal thing, you're walking around, और कोई आके बोला ये तू एंटी नेशनल है, रे तू एंटी नेशनल है, ऐसा कुछ?
नहीं, एक बार actually one guy met me, so I can see. It's very funny. And I go to airports, etc. Right? I can see people recognize me. Like some of them come up to me and like say, "Oh, you do great job," etc. But when people do double takes, like you can see it, you can test it. Sometimes I also see them Googling me and trying to figure out if it's me. That also I have seen, right? In an auditorium, in a cinema hall, there is someone who is like looking at my LinkedIn profile or whatever. पीछे से दिख रहा है मुझे कि तू देख रहा है करके. Don't come up to me. They don't come up to me. So like some of them do come up to me. Some of them are like, don't. I feel like the trolls that are there online, they don't have the balls to come up to me in person.
मैं वही बोलने वाला था. People who come up to you are actually the admirers or who like your work.
Exactly. And I've seen this in my live streams, which is very strange, right? So Twitter पे तो 1000 गालियां पड़ती है, Instagram पे 1000 लाखों गालियां पड़ती है, whatever. When I'm doing a live stream, there are haters that turn up, right? People are like, oh, Libran, do it, chutia, whatever, right? I actually respond to them to their face. And because I have the microphone, I insult the shit out of them. I tell them to improve their vocabulary. I tell them कि थोड़ा सा एक sentence बनाना सीखो. Like I this is my villain arc, right? I'm basically like going out, right? And I'm telling them कि तू चूतिया है boss, चुप रहे, right? Like थोड़ा सा तेरा standard बढ़ा. ये channel पे अगर तुझे chat करना है तो तेरा standard थोड़ा ऊपर होना चाहिए. Because all the other people who are chatting here, they are way beyond your intellectual capacity. So shut the fuck up, right? So like I'm being very direct and brutal. They go away, right? Some of them come back and they're kinder. Right? I've seen that happen. But that's the thing. All these people who are trolling me, who are doing all these things, they don't do it in person because they don't have the balls to do it. Either they come in a mob, which makes them faceless. But in person कोई नहीं आने वाला. आता भी नहीं है.
यार मैं खुद ही अपने हिसाब से भी अगर सोचूं ना, अगर मुझे सामने किसी एयरपोर्ट पे बियर बाइसेप्स दिख जाएगा तो मैं दूर से ही उसको मैं जाऊंगा नहीं उसके पास बोलने की.
बट तेरा सिचुएशन अलग है ना. तू मोटिवेटेड, तेरे अंदर एक वो राइचियस एंगर नहीं है कि तू देश की सेवा के लिए कुछ कर रहा है. दैट इज डिफरेंट. That is what.
But I can see some uncle doing it sometime. Maybe like
ये जो तुम कर रहे हो इस कंट्री के साथ ये ठीक नहीं है और something like that.
ये मैं I can imagine that happening, but maybe someone slightly younger would probably not.
So there was this one time, there was this uncle at an airport, right? He started off by saying that, oh, yeah, I see your videos, right? So he didn't say he likes my videos. He said, I see your videos. And I'm like, oh, thank you so much, etc. And like, हाँ, बोलते हो बहुत. I'm like, okay. Yeah, and that was when I was with News Laundry. Like, बोलते हो बहुत. I'm like, okay. आपका रिपोर्ट देखा, आपने इलेक्शन कवर किया था वेस्ट बंगाल का, एंड दिस इज एट द कैलकाटा एयरपोर्ट, सो आई फिगर्ड वेस्ट बंगाल का इलेक्शन कवर किया था. आई सेड या दिस इज आई डिड. हाँ, ममता के बारे में भी बोला करो कभी कभी. लाइक वो भी तो डिक्टेटर ही है. लाइक ममता के बारे में लिखा करो, पर दिखता नहीं है तुम करते हो कभी. तो आई सेड कि सर आपको दिखता नहीं है इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि मैं करता नहीं हूँ. आप ढूंढो थोड़ा सा तो मिल भी जाएगा. बट दिखना भी चाहिए ना. लाइक आप थोड़ा सा अनबायस्ड होके किया कीजिए. Again, that whole thing, as like, oh, thank you so much for the advice, uncle. I mean, I understand, sir. I said, not uncle. Thank you so much for the advice, sir. I will take this very seriously. But I agree with you. Mamata Banerjee also has her flaws, etc. And there's like, I appreciate that you admit. And I said, हाँ sir, there is nothing wrong with me admitting that Mamata Banerjee has
वो
dictatorial
अंकल ने
tendencies.
अपने घर में ये जो स्टोरी बताई है ना, इस स्टोरी में यू
सुना दिया मैंने
लिटरली
आज.
टच दिस फीट कि अंकल ये
Yeah.
चेंज माय लाइफ. आज नया
Correct.
दिन दिखा दिया अंकल. बट
Correct.
सो कैन आई क्विकली गो टू, सो बेसिकली व्हाई आई आस्क्ड यू दिस इज we don't look around us. Bangladesh economic story is great, but Bangladesh political story is basically uh, um, us, like whatever is we are doing right now, they are like doing it 3 years pehle. So basically, you said
This is their UPA era.
yeah. No, I'm saying this is their 2024 Modi. I'm saying that.
Okay.
They are ahead.
Basically, क्योंकि what you said, right? So right now, Awami League election होते हैं, but they're nominal. BNP जो है, now they're flipped because Awami is their Congress and BNP is their BJP. But Awami League basically has all the structural, judicial, police power. So much so that cricketers, famous Bangladeshi cricketers, end up joining Awami League and become
Correct.
member of parliaments and stuff, right? And BNP is literally like so weakened that elections happen and they get like 10-20%. Nothing, like not even that, I think. Don't quote me on that, but they don't get enough. So Awami League has formed, I think, 3 or 4 successive governments now. Last October 22, they came up with the Digital Security Act, which is essentially like our telecom bill. Within the first 3 months of that act coming into play, 56 journalists were arrested for questioning. But the problem, the way they have done it is what they do is they direct. So basically एक story में एक journalist है Shamsur Rahman Shams, I don't remember his full name. Basically he did a story about how cost of living in Bangladesh is making it difficult for people to survive. Simple story. They so in this case they took him midnight, questioned him through the day and about like defaming the country, blah blah blah, and then kept him in prison for a day or two and then released him. डरा के दिखा दिया, एग्जाम्पल बना दिया. पर इन्होंने कुछ कुछ ऐसे जैसे लोकल लेवल पे किसी ने करप्शन का स्टोरी किया कि आवामी जो है वहाँ लैंड माफिया के साथ ब्ला ब्ला, तो वो ना कुछ नहीं, वो ये नहीं करते हैं, अरेस्ट नहीं कर रहे, वो उंगली कर दे रहे कि ये देखो ये स्टोरी है, दिस इज डिफेमिंग. एंड देन आवामी, लिटरली एक जर्नलिस्ट को आवामी के लड़कों ने जाके 2nd फ्लोर की बिल्डिंग धक्का देके गिरा दिया. So this is where I think the fear is not कि they will prosecute you. My fear is, and that's why I asked you that question, is
Mob
that they will
violence.
say कि this guy is defaming the country. बस इतना बोलना है.
हाँ, मतलब basically they release a crowd on you. Right? So that is already happening to Ravish, right? For example.
वो तो सालों से हो रहा है.
के साथ सालों से हो रहा है, right? And like his mental health is shit right now. He's trying to do his YouTube channel still. I mean, I mean, extreme admiration for that man. इतना होने के बाद,
the stark difference when he's doing his videos from like sometimes he goes to Europe or he comes to US. मतलब शक्ल का पूरा वही चेंज हो जाता है कि ओ देखो मैं कितने चैन से यहाँ पे I can take a stroll, do my video. बाकी टाइम मतलब you can see that he's under some stress.
Oh, he's very much stressed out. Like, I mean, I met him just now and I can see, I told him also actually कि sir आप थोड़ा सा please take care of yourself. Like everyday video करने की जरूरत नहीं है. It's okay. You've done a lot. Like, and it's like नहीं, you know, like daily news audience है. I have to like sort of listen to them, etc. He's doing his thing, right? it's actually quite also he might be a great case study to also see how he still remains empathetic, right? So like you see nothing but empathy coming out of him, right? He's very simple in his ways. He like literally, like, just to give you an example, I went to his house and I was going away and I was like, ha ho gaya, and thank you so much sir, I'm going. He came to drop me till my car. Why? Just essay. Again, it's freaking Ravish Kumar,
Yes.
right? And
small
see,
town
that-
values, sir. Small town values. Small town
but
values.
small town values, whatever you want to call it, but genuinely, like I'm stunned by how humble he is and how grounded he is, right? He never like sort of he's not mean to you, he's not rude to you, but he goes out of his way to be kind to you, or just give a gesture that he's kind to you. And that gives me a little bit of hope. You know what? Like a lot of people show up on my live stream right now, which is, they are also like asking me things like what you just asked, right? Are you protected? Is your mental health good? Are you doing okay? They care, right? And what I tell them is that, yeah, I'm okay. I mean, I just like to exude hope nowadays, because if everybody becomes hopeless, then it's a sure shot way towards absolute disaster. I feel like a feeling of hopelessness is extremely dangerous. So I'm trying to be that publicly, which is like being a little hopeful about like looking at long-term views, looking at things, and also looking at politics as entertainment a little bit, which makes you feel better and improves your mental health also.
Yeah,
Restart
अच्छा restart कर लो यार, कर लो
हाँ
restart
रिस्टार्ट अभी कर ही लेते हैं actually. Okay, I will I think it'll take 2 minutes because it'll download these first and then I'll have to set it up again.
Yeah.
So let me stop
एक second रुको,
recording first. सुनूंगा ना तो फिर मैं कह यार this opportunity was missed.
नहीं मैं कहीं
और तुमने रिकॉर्डिंग स्टार्ट ही नहीं की थी तब.
अब लेकिन अभी होगा. मैं क्योंकि यही लोग बीजेपी को सिर्फ इसलिए सुनते हैं क्योंकि उनको ये बीच में ये मिलता है कि मैं एक संगीत तू एक संगीत
we are the Johnny Lever of podcast.
हाँ तो
अलग वो चलता रहता.
अच्छा लेकिन मेघनाद, you said something offline कि people don't fully understand what democracy, like the structures of democracy, what goes into democracy. तो क्या मतलब, can you elaborate?
I think nobody talks in a language about how it's useful to you. So you're supposed to like hold it as some ideal, right? For all the time. Like, I mean, not just in India, but as a, in the US also in a lot of ways. But at the same time, you tell me, like, being an Indian citizen, what has this gotten you? In realistic terms, right?
Jealousy of other passport holders.
Of course, like, because Vishwa Guru and all. I don't think anybody really asked this question, which is, Indian citizen hai tu, फायदा क्या है, right? Just because you're born here, you're a citizen and all the things, you get to vote, whatever. उसके आगे क्या, right? Like, what is it realistically getting you? One is, of course, people who are or like pro-authoritarian, pro-authority, pro-establishment. They would say, हाँ तो मतलब we got like proud, we are proud, we build country.
जब zero दिया मेरे.
And they will also say, oh हमको road मिलता है, हमको ये मिलता है, हमको वो मिलता है, right? If you ask an anti-establishment person, they will go on their own rant, right? But they will also say that मैं भी तो tax देता हूँ, पर मुझे उसमें से क्या ही मिलता है other than pain and mental trauma and whatever. So if you ask this very realistic question to someone about what has the citizenship gotten you, they will actually come up with reasons to support.
Most of those things would not be because of being a citizen of India. It would be because of your privilege. Like,
yes.
Most of it would be caste privilege and class privilege.
Yes, exactly. Like, for example, if you ask someone कि तुमने बीजेपी को वोट क्यों दिया in a village in UP, they'll be like, राशन चाहिए था. right? It's simple, right? Simple logic. If I vote for बीजेपी ने मुझे पिछले 10 साल में खाना खिलाया और मुझे 5 साल खाना खाना है, I will vote for BJP. Someone is like, why did you vote for BJP? They improved law and order in UP. How? ठोक दिया सालों को, राइट? उसके बाद फिर हम रास्ते पे घूम पा रहे हैं, हमारी माँ बहन बेटियां रास्ते पे घूम पा रही है, इसीलिए वोट देना है, राइट? I have heard these things, right? And from that perspective, it makes sense. So for them, democracy is this, right? Which is the government is giving you stuff which is required for your basic survival. So for if you ask the same question to them, ki, what is the faida that you're getting by being a citizen, right, in of India, even in a West Bengal or whatever, they'll be like, हाँ, health insurance मिलता है, खाना मिलता है, hospital में free treatment मिलता है, मेरे बेटियों को scholarship मिलता है, even in MP, now तो they get like UBI, whatever, women get
लाडली
Kanyashri,
बहना,
Ladli beta, beti, whatever,
हाँ,
whatever.
बेटी सॉरी बहना
That
की
is
लाडली,
democracy for them,
हाँ,
right? That
नहीं
is
बहना का
democracy
भी है
for
कुछ।
them.
होगा
हाँ
बट
क्या
वो
क्या?
मामा जी है ना, मामा जी
हाँ,
नहीं रहे बट जो भी है, एनीवे सॉरी गो ऑन.
no, but that is democracy for them, right? Which is essentially government gives you things, right? And in return, you are basically supposed to uh, hold it in great respect. So you're supposed to not just question the government about or feel entitled about why you are not getting these things. Like for example, if I'm getting ration till yesterday, tomorrow, next month, I don't get it. Very few people will actually go and say that क्यों नहीं मिल रहा है. Some will be entitled enough to do that, but at the same time, they will always be like authority है, we can't challenge authority, right? जो राशन वाला है, जो अभी राशन दे रहा था, if that person gets changed, becomes like a corrupt, shitty person, whatever, then what can you do about it? We have to figure our own shit out now, right? So the basic value of democracy will not be understood until people become entitled enough to understand. I feel like the entitlement is completely absent. So there is a need to build self-respect in people about about themselves, but also about the fact that तुम कोई favor नहीं कर रहे हो मेरे लिए. Like even if you're giving me ration etc, that's not any favor. I'm actually a taxpayer. Everybody is a taxpayer, and this is something that I deserve.
So the American democracy is entitlement based democracy, where the conservatives forces now are stronger because of that sense of entitlement कि
Yes.
मेरे से तू गन लेगा मेरे
Yeah.
से,
Yeah.
या even like free speech, right? Free speech is like literally you, like if you live in a suburban area, you can see let's go Brandon is basically fuck you Biden. Let's go Brandon. Okay. And trucks painted with that, and like imagine that. But when you guys were talking about this, I was thinking on a serious note, right? What it
I
means.
still occasionally on weekends, if I'm going grocery shopping, there is this one white uncle with a flag. Biden stole 2020. Still, he's still on. But that's only one. And I've seen people like giving him the middle finger while going by everything, but he still keeps at it.
मैं अभी जिस कांग्रेशनल डिस्ट्रिक्ट में रहता हूँ ना, वो बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग कांग्रेशनल डिस्ट्रिक्ट है. 1% से भी कम से डेमोक्रेट कांग्रेशनल कैंडिडेट हैं, एंड बिफोर दैट इट वाज अ रिपब्लिकन.
फॉर्चुनेटली वो प्रॉब्लम नहीं है मुझे यहाँ पे, बट स्टिल
that
मतलब वो एक अंकल है जो
was
अपना he is at it all the
so
time.
no, that Republican was actually one of that Republican who voted against Trump after the January 6th. So they had to resign, and then this Democrat won. और जो उसका opponent था, वो proper like Nick Fuentes और white nationalist वाले podcast पे जाता, you know, that is the district. It's a very interesting district, but anyway, that's separate. Indian democracy was like, and I know, and what Nishan said, this is my privilege speaking. Okay? Indian democracy is perhaps, to me, the most beautiful experiment in human civilization that has ever been done, bar none. Because we are basically Europe in terms of the differences we have.
Correct.
We have have, and there is this experiment where we are trying to live together. As established definition will tell you that this should be or could be a country, and we are living. And for the longest time, the thing that has sustained us is that thing. Ki while people have pride of being an Indian, they have had a pride of being Bengali, Marathi, Tamil, whatever, right? And then there are also like, I mean, I know caste
subcultures,
is,
yeah,
but there are subcultures also, right? So that has that kind of constant like tug has, I feel, for the longest time actually kept the Indian democracy flourishing. Like people like your Mulayam Singh Yadav or Mayawati are such great examples. Like there is no Mulayam Singh Yadav or Mayawati in Pakistan.
Yeah.
And neither can they imagine having someone come from like that background. Even Modi, for example, right? It's like I don't know how much of his life story is fabricated and how much of it is real, but just assuming whatever we are told is real, it's fascinating that a man can get to become the Prime Minister of India from that place.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So it is
और like खड़गे man,
beautiful.
मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे story
भाई
insane.
हम लोग बात कर रहे थे अभी लास्ट एपिसोड में बात करी क्या अपन ने, या अभी एक एपिसोड आया नहीं है उसके, उसमें बात करी शायद, कि लिटरली अगर ये थोड़ा पैसा देगा उसकी लाइफ के ऊपर, लाइक खड़गे की लाइफ के ऊपर बायोपिक बनाए, it will be 10 times better than like even Manmohan Singh Mani. His life was far more challenging in terms of like going through certain things than our Adarniya, but anyway,
forget that. Think about Ambedkar, right? Ambedkar, towards the end of his life, after being law minister and all the things, he had no money to publish his own books. He died penniless, like literally in a house where like nobody was there, essentially. And it's really sad, but also like it also shows you sort of I get where you're coming from, right? Which is इतने घटिया बैकग्राउंड से, इतने घटिया सिचुएशन से you can become a prime minister, you can become a party leader, you can do all the things, right? There's of course like rags to riches stories everywhere, which is
but also like see this is these are rare cases, but also like why is a person living in Tamil Nadu and a person living in West Bengal in the same country, like in no other place in the world, I think, will they be in the same, like
I often ask myself this question, right? If you were the Indian Union, right, technically we are a union of states, but we are in a very real sense, if Maharashtra was a country, if West Bengal was a country, and we were the Indian Union, right? I feel like Bangladesh and Pakistan would be a part of that union.
I mean,
if
you ask me, my idea.
So actually, West Bengal has more people in West Bengal have more in common with people in Bangladesh than
they have with Maharashtra or Gujarat, right? Exactly, right? People in Pakistan have a lot more common with Punjab and Kashmir. So, see, that's my thing. So, if we genuinely look at India as a union, right? Union of states, right? Abhi to matlab there is like this whole hold lagi hai to get like power to the center, which is Delhi. It might work for a while. I don't think it will last because I keep saying this, that the moment you try to unify and you try to make one national identity a thing, etc., there will be regional forces who will get pissed
That's
off.
my hope.
Oh, it is happening already. I mean, you can see it. Like in Pune, when I was there, the fact that we were talking in Marathi, right, was so much more liberating to people than when they were talking in English or Hindi or whatever. Like, anti-establishment things are said in regional language more than they are said in Hindi or English. I can write this down to you. If in a public function there is a comedy show or there is a news show which is speaking in regional language, they will be more courageous and they will be more outrightly anti-establishment than Hindi or English speakers.
Fully agree, and even more ridiculous. So during Bengal elections, I saw this Diwal where how message was painted in Bangla, which basically translates to that Modi, you're a naughty person, and like it was a rhyme, Ki Modi, you're a naughty person, and I hope that your beard and nose all get जुए जुए क्या बोलते थे इंग्लिश में जो भी है
Lice.
lice
Lice.
हाँ तो बंगाली मतलब not this is not possible to put in Hindi or English in a public but my hope to your point was this the idea of India going beyond also that, and I've said this I guess, is that literally we went through partition and a country next to us was created on the basis of religion, and even then we decided not to become, I mean, in 47 no one would have said anything had the Congress of then decided ki, let's be a Hindu, let's call ourselves India as a Hindu country with rights for everybody, right? Nobody would bat an eyelid because there is a Pakistan next to you, but they said nahi wo alag ho gaye, but we still hold the idea of whatever India we were, and we still will be that country, and that aspiration is beautiful. And I think the true development that we can get is actually when we have free trade across the border, like if, I mean, EU, ultimately Europe, they are different countries, but now most mainland EU, UK is not mainland EU, is doing free trade between them,
Yeah.
Correct.
and they are better for it
Free
now.
trade and travel and
Ah,
all the things.
and they're better for it than they are the second strongest market in terms of like purchasing ability after US, I think, right? Or,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, they're very strong. And imagine if you really want an Akhand Bharat, the Akhand Bharat will not come with force. The Akhand Bharat will
Yeah.
come when
It will come with decentralization, extreme decentralization. Like that's
yeah.
the thing. That's what I was coming to, right? Which is essentially like, for example, as I was saying, like if we are a union of states in a very realistic sense, right? Which we are supposed to be according to the constitution. What does that mean? Every cultural identity is protected. Every person with a different cultural identity is also a citizen of the union, but also a federal citizen, right? Which is they are a citizen of the state first, state being the regional state first, then they are a citizen of the nation. यहाँ पे उल्टा है, right? My thing is that what will I relate more to, right? For example, अभी यहाँ पे एक पार्क बन रहा है बाजू में, चोमो लोग ये RWA के लोग पार्क बना रहे हैं. पार्क तो था वहां पे पहले से, राइट? बंद कर दिया उन्होंने. You know why? Plants लगाने, right? Now my dog, who I used to take out for walks, etc. I can't take the dog out for walk because they have banned pets from going on the front street. मैं पीछे से जाता था, वो पार्क में घुसता था, and I would let her run free for a while, right? They saw this, and they saw a few other dog owners coming and doing this. They shut down the park. For literally 10 days it's been shut down. पीछे से गेट लॉक किया है, सामने से गेट लॉक किया है, वहां पे क्या माली आके क्या कर रहा है कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, right? So there are like these tiny authoritarian idiots who are amongst us everywhere, which is, yeah, but at the same time I can go to that authoritarian idiot and I did scream at them. I told them कि बॉस ये क्या कर रहे हो तुम लोग? Like why? What harm is it causing you to keep that?
What is the logic behind? Yeah, what is the logic behind not allowing?
Just power use कर रहे हैं. Just big measuring contest of uncles वही चल रहा है यहाँ पे basically. Like all the RWA uncles are uncles, right?
Yeah.
They want that little fiefdom that they can get, which they don't get at home. They will.
The smallest unit of Hindu Rashtra is in RWA.
Yeah. हर आदमी में छोटा मोदी बैठा हुआ है, like as they say. But my thing is that even if there is a local dictator around, I can at least go and freaking scream at them, right? If there is a dictator in Delhi, I can't do that. That's why I'm saying that when you are thinking of citizenship, right? Think of how it is useful to you. Think of how an authority is ensuring that your citizenship, the rights that you get with it, are all protected. But at the same time, if I'm using a park, I am decent enough to take a poop scooper. That is my duty. So like, I mean, I also don't want to like take my dog and shit there everywhere and ruin the park or whatever. all the dog owners that I know do come with poop scoopers, right? They're decent enough to do that. And if we see someone who is not doing that, we point out, कि भाई poop scooper लेके आना या फिर that doggy bag or whatever, right? Basic civic, like yeah, duty, right? But I'm also doing that duty knowing that I get to use that fucking park, right? If you don't let me use that park, I'm just going to take my dog piche and she can poop wherever she wants. I will also rebel, right? I feel like, that's we need to ask more citizens why they are citizens. A very existential question.
Basically, Jawan के ending.
Yeah, मिल क्या रहा है तुझे, right?
Yes.
Like मिल क्या रहा है तुझे इसके return में, right? And be completely entitled about this because it's their fucking duty to basically like protect your rights and give you things. That's why they're there.
I mean, yeah, and the interesting thing is, so basically, to me, citizenship of any country is basically your contractual agreement with the state
Yeah.
that you will be part of the state, and by being part of the state, you get X rights and whatever kind of comes with that, you know. And the interesting thing is that all the time I hear people who like not just BJP but like uncles and conservative bents, people with conservative bents and uncles, they keep harping about duty, like literally.
Oh yeah,
Everybody is just
this is Kartavya Kal.
And like let's talk about duties and not rights. ये तो मोदी जी ने बोला अपने स्पीच में.
Like think about it. It's basically like a club membership, right? If you are a member of a fucking Calcutta club or whatever, कितना entitlement भर जाता है तुम पे? Like like you are paying. वैसे ही है ना, same ही है ना, तुम भी तो taxes दे रहे हो, right? Like country का membership लेने के लिए. So think about it that way, right? And I don't understand how these elite freaking uncles who are club members and whatever, and they're most entitled with their clubs, by the way. Most entitled. Like management will have to do everything for them. Cheap daru, swimming pool access, all the things. Guest आया तो अच्छे से treat करो. All the club things that you can do, right? Golfing करते हैं, जो भी करते हैं. At the same time, you don't do that for your country. It's like a club membership, boss. That's exactly it. Like it's a club membership that you didn't choose, but you're paying the membership fees anyway all the time. Right? What are you getting in return? It's a simple question. Why aren't you entitled enough to ask things in return for paying that club membership? Yeah, that's simply it.
For some people, maybe the sense of pride that they find, however we might see it, because see, most Indians will be born in India and spend their entire life in India. In fact, most Indians will born in their city and spend their entire life in that city itself. To sell them this idea कि तुम्हारा दुनिया में like इज्जत है, नाम है, like as an Indian you now get respect and blah blah जो भी. I don't know how I'm guessing it's fairly easy to sell it if everyone is saying that, from like nobody's questioning it, from your WhatsApp to your media to your prime minister. So do you feel that sometimes that sense of pride is enough? उसके बाद मेरे घर के सामने अगर गू है तो मैं चला लेगा.
There is a reason why people buy this narrative, right? Because as an Indian citizen, as a common Indian citizen, by this same government or whoever is around you, you're treated like absolute shit, right? Any authority figure around you will treat you like absolute garbage, right? Caste की वजह से, right? You will be treated like garbage. Gender की वजह से, you will be treated like garbage. If you're a sexual deviant, I'm using quotes, you will be treated like garbage, right? If you smoke, if you alcohol, whatever, if you go around with many women, one woman, whatever it is, doesn't matter what you wear, etc., you'll be treated like shit. So if you're in a situation where you're constantly treated like shit, judged for what your choices, also questioned for everything that you do, right? You have this void inside you which kind of it comes from a lack of self-respect. At one point, every Indian that you speak to, when they go to college or when they get out of college or during that period, I'm like self-respect ke dhajjiyan ud gayi hai tab, right? That is the moment they enter college. Now, if you enter a college during that time and you grow up to be like a completely hopeless person who does not have self-respect, who is not proud of who they are, right? It also leaves this void, which is so easy to fill by at least I'm an Indian and the whole world is proud of me. You know, you use it as a crutch then for your own fucking sanity. And that's the tragic part of it. That I see so many people and I'm interacting with so many people because of the live streams that I do. They're lonely, man.
Oh,
And that's the sad part of it. They're extremely lonely people who want attention and who want to believe that there is more people like you who think like you, who are more kind to you, right? There are so many of them. And they will be there for hours because it feels great to be with a crowd that you can relate to, a tribe that you can relate to. The same is true for the BJP crowd. The same is true for the liberal
Exactly.
crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah. The same is true for those fucking uncles who go to ICC, like the IIC, and drink like tea for like 3 hours. Same thing. Yeah. Like all these, intellectual elite in Delhi right now. Yeah, they also feel like they also need to be seen. They need to be known, right? And then they hang out with their own people and they feel like they're a part of a tribe. And then you call it a toolkit, apparently.
I mean, so अभी कल एक धोनी का एक वीडियो आया where
Oh,
Dhoni is
has he been
saying,
cancelled yet?
I don't know, but Dhoni is saying
क्या किया धोनी ने?
कुछ नहीं बेसिक से भी बेसिक चीज उसने बोला हाँ पाकिस्तान में जाना चाहिए पाकिस्तान सम अमेजिंग फूड
बस that's it.
ठीक है अब किसी ने वो वीडियो डाला एंड कमेंट किया कि ये धोनी ने बोला अब उसके नीचे व्हेन आई स्टार्ट रीडिंग कमेंट्स ए धोनी सरकाज़म कर रहा पाकिस्तान में तो खाना ही नहीं है आई एम लाइक डूड तू कहां से बोल रहा है ये 80 crore people are being fed by the government in this country to how can you do this how can you be and then I feel that
यार प्रॉब्लम ये है ना
maybe
कि वो 140 करोड़ में से वो 80 करोड़ जो बेचारे गवर्नमेंट डिपेंडेंट हैं वो कुछ बोल नहीं पाते और बाकी
वो
के
कुछ
60
बोल
करोड़ चूतियों टाइप चिल्लाते रहते हैं तो
Yeah.
मतलब that is the problem. So and
Like
my point is that
loudspeakers है
60
ना?
crore is a huge number.
Yeah.
Despite it's not the majority, it still gets heard.
Yeah.
oh
So the entitlement is so bizarre. So the entitlement that you should have is that you're a citizen, you have rights, club membership, मुझे ये चाहिए वो चाहिए. Just demand things, right? But the entitlement that comes in these uncles or the authoritarian tiny mini modis is from the fact that this whole pride situation, right? The entitlement comes from that identity which you are projecting. And also being a loudmouth for some bizarre reason. Like as you said, Nishant, like out of the 10 people who are around you, one will be a loudmouth. And those loudmouths are somehow the most entitled bodhibhakts that you will find. Right? The rest of the 9 might
हाँ
not
वो
even agree with them.
voluntarily जो शुरू हो जाता है ना वही होता है सबसे ज्यादा
Yeah.
हाँ Yeah.
But the rest of the 9 will also be like, let's say, like 10 लोगों में से एक मोदी भक्त है, चिल्ला रहा है वो, right? One of them is like a whatever Congress supporter जो भी है, वो counters that person, right? The rest of the 8 will not support the Congress support.
Yeah.
They will be like, अरे क्यों politics कर रहे हो, मत
वो
करना, कितना atmosphere खराब हो रहा है, like that sort of like talk. And I have been
because
subjected to so much of that.
the
but
same thing, right? So like some of the people I know जब उनको ऐसे randomly बातों में पता चला है that podcast करते हैं ये करते हैं so there's BJPod and all भाई लिंक भेज ठीक है but यार बहुत पॉलिटिक्स की होगी तो फिर मैं नहीं सुनूंगा यार I don't I'm apolitical
अच्छा उसमें एक और इंटरेस्टिंग चीज है
मैं बोला भाई तू
especially
रहने दो फिर
WhatsApp group will be an example like community WhatsApp groups, right? Where if you post things like कि अयोध्या में मंदिर बन रहा है, वाह भव्य श्री राम मंदिर बन रहा है and something like that, and that's fine. But
That's
if
fine.
you post anything that is mildly questioning the government, they're like यार politics मत कर, नहीं कर.
Yeah.
So somehow anything that is pro-establishment related is seen as, is not even seen as political. So like when people say to
Because
me,
that is Deshbhakti now. It's not pro-establishment.
that's what
See,
I'm.
Yeah. So the definition is different now. Which is like if you are talking about Modi ji, India, Ram Mandir, all of the things that Modi ji is doing, it's Deshbhakti. It's not politics. It's patriotism. It's Deshbhakti. It's all of those things, right? If you are questioning the government, if you are doing anything, that is politics. So that's why all these news channels run this. Why politicize this situation? Why politicize that situation, right? But it's always when the government is being questioned. It's never when they are doing the politics, right? When they are like talking about Ram Mandir or even like this, it's like suspension thing, right?
Yeah.
वहां पे भी पूछ रहे हैं भाई, why are you politicizing this? अरे what are you talking about, man?
पार्लियामेंट में और क्या चाहिए भाई तेरे को?
या और क्या चाहिए तुमको? So
ये तो
and
स्टैंडर्ड
you know
है.
the sad part is that a person like me or you or Nishant will never get a place on these TV debates because जब भी कोई पूछेगा ना कि अरे why are you politicizing, either three of us will be like अच्छा बताओ वैसे what is your definition of politics, by the way? I think all three of us will have this question. Right? So they'll never put people like us, the sensible, the smart, because that doesn't sell apparently. Because we just have to scream and shout and talk about our identities.
Which goes back to what we initially talked. Don't you think that when will people realize that these channels also think of them as stupid?
Oh, absolutely. That's what is happening now, I think. And I think, what will happen is that old people watching TV is such a great thing. Old people, old people, uncles watching TV is such a good thing because all the young people are seeing that your dad who you hate, who has like shitty political opinions, misogynist, bullshit opinions, is watching TV, which means ye mere liye nahi hai. I feel like that is also happening, which is, and when we were young, we also did this. You know this, like if there was
Positive
a parent,
animal.
Yeah,
Animal in a positive
exactly.
way. Yeah.
Exactly. But at the same time, these young people are going and watching beer biceps, which is a battle we will fight.
Yeah.
I think that is also related to loneliness. Like a lot of it's one of the things.
Yeah, because मुझे तो लगता है beer biceps का अगर कोई ऐसा डेटा है कि मेरे को तो लगता है उसको जितना एक्चुअल फैन वाचिंग मिलता है उतना ही उसको हेट वाचिंग भी मिलता है, which I never understand. मतलब मेरी अब हमारे खुद के डिस्कॉर्ड सर्वर पे मेरी नॉट लड़ाई बट डिबेट हो चुके हैं कि भाई why do you have to like FOMO है तुम्हें क्या है, मतलब मत देखो.
It's very simple, Nishad. It's not even that. It's not hate watching or love watching. His guest list is amazing. That's it. Like Sunny Leone से लेके तुम मिनिस्टर को लेके आ रहे हो, तुम लेके येटी वाला कोई तो भी आ रहा है.
मेरा सिर्फ एक ही चीज है, क्या दुनिया में सारी अच्छी किताबें और सारे अच्छी कंटेंट तुमने कंज्यूम कर चुका है जो तुम इसको देख रहे हो? मतलब ऐसा क्या बचा है?
It's content and personality driven, right? It's so like low effort, na? That's the thing. Low effort watching is such a thing, like I was also like
यार लो एफर्ट वाचिंग के बहुत सी चीजें हैं यार. बैकग्राउंड में मैं कोई ऐसे क्रिकेट पॉडकास्ट लगा लेता हूँ, कोई स्पोर्ट्स वाला लगा लो, वो कोई ऐसा लाइक साइंटिफिक जो even Tyson is a low effort and a much better read like listen.
So two things. It is like we don't talk about loneliness enough.
हेरा फेरी चला लो यार बैकग्राउंड में.
नहीं होगा. मैं बता रहा हूँ क्यों नहीं होगा. देख, a lot of people अपना डिस्कॉर्ड या इस मेघनाद का डिस्कॉर्ड वो सब छोड़ दो. A lot of the people who go to beer biceps went to beer biceps when he was in his motivation guru era.
But those are the fan
stage.
And the thing is it's not different like our parents believing anything on WhatsApp to be true, because now they see it in like a digital thing with text. They're like, oh, इसमें तो true ही होएगा. वैसे ही if they see someone on YouTube telling you कि hey अगर तू ऐसा करेगा तो लड़की तेरे से impress होएगी, that they think that will help them. And it's not you and me. Like, first of all, we are not a book reading country. We don't read.
हाँ वो
No,
तो
we are not that. And you think about
never read a single book in my life.
what's it? But think about like a random young boy from Jabalpur who's now going to Delhi or Pune or somewhere for his college. Completely new circle, completely different people around you. Some people who are way out of, like, in terms of economic privilege or even like social, like, understand. Even if you're very privileged in Jabalpur, when you go and meet people in Delhi, it's a different experience.
Yeah.
तो उसमें फिर तुम घर आके शाम को तुम्हारे पास सिर्फ जियो का फोन है जिसमें फ्री है यूट्यूब, उसमें फिर तो, और वो टाइम भी ना 19, 20, 21, 22 is the time when you think you can change the world, you can do anything. So you start looking up and sad realities कि 5 मिनट 10 मिनट के जो मोटिवेशनल वीडियोस हैं ये बहुत पॉपुलर है. और दूसरी चीज है कि दिस एज मेघनाद सेड, राइट, इफ आई डोंट हैव many political kind of opinions, I will be like, हाँ यार एस जयशंकर है, मतलब यार फॉरेन मिनिस्टर, आईएएस ऑफिसर था पहले, आईएफएस ऑफिसर, व्हाटएवर. दिस मतलब दिस इज इंप्रेसिव, राइट? आई हियर व्हाट एस जयशंकर, आई मीन आज भी मैं Raghuram Rajan, I know he's on a book tour selling his book, but I listen to all of his videos because I have a personal like thing. I find him very impressive.
Respect for him, liking for him, whatever you want to say.
So I do. So now think about like,
Of course.
और उसके बाद ना एक flanderization.
That's what I was saying right earlier, that it's personality and content driven both, right? One is personalities that are coming there definitely come with a fan following. Like, there would be an S. Jayashankar fan following. There would be a Piyush Goyal fan following also. Why not, right? There would be a Sunny Leone fan following, and all of the fan followings together and watching this fellow. Right? The second is content. Like, अगर तुम भूत प्रेत येटी के बारे में बात करोगे, that is effortless listening. That is genuinely like, चल रहा है whatever. Like, for example, भूत प्रेत के बारे में तो बात करता है Beer Biceps. Have you seen Jose streams?
Yeah.
Jose does these amazing like
ghost stories.
Like ghost story stream. वो भी तो भूत प्रेत के बारे में बात कर रहा है ना, right?
Yeah.
Just because he's doing it more intellectually, etc., we accept that, and also he's not saying that those are real. But the thing is that I feel like it's kind of the same. I mean, it's kind of the same. Like it's just the kind of audience you're attracting. That is what it is, right? And epidemic of loneliness is a very real thing. Which is like, if you're lonely and you're finding solace in one kind of content or the other, like, why do people watch reaction videos? Like even my partner watches like insane Jabby Cohen. यार वो क्या है वो exactly? I don't get it, right? I see reaction videos of people playing video games though.
Wait. You are seeing somebody reacting to somebody playing a video game?
Yeah,
oh
I do.
God.
I mean, yeah, like people are watching Twitch streams and reacting to them.
बच्चे कर लो, बता रहे हैं हम.
नहीं, but the thing is कि अब अपन अपनी बात करें तो we can say, right, कि किम्बर के वो वीडियोस नहीं देखते क्या अपन, जिसमें वो ब्रेक डाउन करता है कि आज क्या हुआ.
हाँ, नहीं तो वो वही मैं नहीं that's fine यार. मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि even this video game thing is like, I don't keep it in the same bucket as going and watching Beer Biceps or listening to J-Sai just because you want to react to him or whatever. मेरा वो point है कि हाँ, if you have interest in something, put it on the background, but don't like, or try not to just कि यार इसको तो मतलब कुछ उड़ाने का मिलेगा, इसके लेने का मिलेगा तो इसलिए मैं देख लेता हूँ, या फिर कुछ memes बनेंगे तो मुझे समझ में नहीं आएंगे इसलिए देख लेता हूँ. That is what I have a slight issue with. बाकी तो yeah, if you're interested in anything, put it in the background. Yeah.
Like there is there are, so the reason why, so just my YouTube thing, right? For example, I am just doing live streams now, right? I realize that it is a great revenue generator.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, all the live streams that I'm doing, they're like 350, 400 people watching for the entire duration of 2.5 hours. Right? So I did a 4-hour live stream today, which is like everything that happened in 2023. I made a list of events that I think are important every month. I'm going month by month by month. It was a 4-hour live stream, right? About 150 people were watching that, right? And what I also realized is that after I'm done with the live stream, there will be like around 8-10,000 people who will come back and watch it, and they're watching the entire thing. Like there are at least like 15% people who are watching the entire thing, which means like there are around 1,000-1,500 people who are watching 2.5 hours of me doing bakchodi. Yeah. I feel like that is like I also do that. I have that behavior with like people like Hasne, Destiny, Wash, all these UK US sort of commentators, right? मैं कुछ भी बात कर रहे हो तो मैं सुनता हूँ. I don't understand why, but I do. Like चल रहा है बाजू में चल रहा है while I'm working, while I'm playing, while I'm doing all these things.
वो मेरा वो है British podcast like rest is history, rest is politics. वो चलता है मेरा किनारे कितना
हाँ,
मतलब
exactly.
But that is you are actually, even if it's in the background of those podcasts that you are mentioning, you are actually getting some knowledge. And
यार सबके लिए अलग अलग है. जैसे अभी मैं अच्छी बात करूँ, मैं अपना वो बुरा बताता हूँ. मेरा जैबी कोई क्या मैं बताता हूँ. अगर I love watching Pakistani cricket content. Like not
I know.
cricket.
I hear this podcast, sir.
Yeah. So basically, the rawness in their emotions is something that Indian broadcasters have gone beyond. I guess I don't know. So that rawness, like वो जो मतलब एकदम like अरे ये तो बिग गया player, not just pavilion, even उससे भी हर लम्हा पुरजोश. फिर अरे ये तो बिग गया, इन पैसे खाए ना उन्हें सालों ने. I love that. ये घंटे का king because
but that is still. I still think there is a difference between this and watching a J.S. Deepak interview in the background.
But why, Nishant? That's what I'm asking. That's where I was coming to. Like, I mean, I think we have so much option now. I think we have our own niche things that we watch. For a lot of people, beer biceps and J.S. Deepak and that Abhijit Chawda is a niche that they follow and watch.
नहीं फैंस की बात नहीं कर रहा मैं मतलब मैं स्पेक्ट्रम पे ऑन लेफ्टिस्ट लिबरल साइड की बात कर रहा हूँ. जो फैंस है वो तो
बात कर दो. ये हेट वॉच की बात
कर रहा हूँ
जो कि आदित्य करता है. फॉर एग्जांपल लोग हंसना पसंद करते होंगे. आई थिंक आई डोंट नो. कभी-कभी यू वॉच
कितने होंगे हेट वॉचर्स?
यू हैव met यार
हमारे डिस्कॉर्ड नहीं हमारे डिस्कॉर्ड में लोग
काफी हैं यार काफी.
मटेरियल
पूरा मेरा तो पूरी ट्विटर टाइमलाइन बियर बाइसेप्स का कोई वीडियो आता नहीं है. मेरे को तो लगता है कि
वो
ज्यादा वही देख लेते हैं.
अब वो सही इसलिए नहीं है क्योंकि वो ना 1 मिनट को क्लिप डालता है.
हाँ, वो
कोई
क्लिप
एक वॉचर 1 मिनट का क्लिप काट के डालता है कि वो राज. हाँ
बहुत एंगेजमेंट है. if you cut out the bare biceps thing and put a reaction to it. मेरा तो विज्ञान भी रिसेंटली मेरे इंस्टाग्राम पे बहुत वायरल जा रहे हैं पगले समाज. मिलियंस ऑफ व्यूज फॉर सम रीजन. one was bare biceps. Like his whole thing about sun के surface पे if you are standing light travel takes 8 minutes to travel from
thought
but thought travel.
If you think about it all immediately reaches.
It's like the thing is
thoughts are more powerful. I'm like ये क्या बकवास कर
नहीं. ये मैं क्लास 11th में ये बात किया है मैंने. जब मैं 11th क्लास में था मैंने अपने दोस्तों से ये बात किया. बट तब मैं 11th में था. That's the difference.
और ये अपने आप को इंडिया का मोस्ट
क्योंकि ऐसा नहीं ये STEM ब्रोज ऐसी बातें कर चुके हैं.
It's an interesting point, Raj, because a lot of people don't grow up after that. Think about it. Like a lot of people don't grow up or don't want to grow up after that also. Like I always say this to a lot of people. Ignorance genuinely is bliss. It's not an overstatement. Where a lot of people choose actively to be ignorant because it is a blissful existence. Because becoming a non-ignorant person takes a lot of effort and it is a lot of trauma. I feel like all of us get this, where if we were away from the news, if we were not following, like you guys must be very aware, there must be people around you who do not follow these things, who do not indulge or whatever, because they want to be ignorant actively. It's an active choice they are making because it makes them happier. right? Instagram is full of those people. And it is that kind of audience which might be so blissfully unaware that beer biceps makes sense to them.
हाँ वो है ना, the moment you take the first step is also the moment where a lot of the people you've thought of as heroes within your family and circle are the kind of people that you have to start questioning, right? So or in
Disagree.
cases unka pura aapka image, it goes down, right, for you, like people you've looked up to, and a lot of people are not ready to deal with that, or even like think of that. And you are right. I mean, so that is the thing na, okay, the greatest argument against democracy is to go and out and talk to an average voter.
Yeah, it's traumatic. You cannot imagine, because you
you have done
realize
it.
that I've done it, and it is kind of traumatic because you realize how out of depth you are, but then you turn it around and say that actually there's a lot of ignorance around you, right? And they are living a blissful existence as a result of it, right? And
Yeah.
just to get out of that bubble
Mm.
is so much effort. It's insane amount of effort, right? Hanging out with a party where people don't talk about politics is excruciating for me. And I have done that so many times. And now I'm getting used to it, which is also great because I'm also like, yeah, these people choose not to, which is okay.
But the thing is कि so अब ये तो personal therapy session में जा रहा हूँ मैं, but the thing is कि sometimes even without you can choose to do that, and you can have like a 2 hour meeting with someone, fun, right, just fun, but even in that they will drop something which will then make you think कि इसका बाकी चीजों का thought process क्या होगा, like something very like a wife joke, husband wife joke जो Kapil Mishra ने किया, Kapil Sharma, and then you're like, oh yeah Jethalal something. I'm just make them relatable चीजें बोलो, but there are other things also, right? And then you start thinking कि like how then you start thinking about politics. Not you don't say it, but you start on not and everything is politics.
You start thinking about politics.
Yeah. They don't. Yeah.
They don't. Yeah, exactly.
But you realize that even the most apolitical way of interacting with someone has political undertones, and you just cannot escape it.
Recently I had this experience where like people, like I was meeting a bunch of people, and eventually after dinner and a couple of drinks, like it didn't turn to politics, but because there were some Indians there, it turned into कि अरे Bangalore में तो मस्त लाइफ है और मतलब ऐसा है वैसा है,
चीप लेबर.
हाँ तो वही कि मतलब घर में सब्जी आ जाती है, सब हो जाता है, ये हो जाता है. That was my cue कि यार
exact so because our bubble is kind of
I think my baby is
experience.
falling asleep, so I think we should leave now, because उसके बाद ना फिर ये होता है कि I can't agree with them, and I don't have the I know if I start explaining, then it will so it will eventually probably affect the friendship in the end.
I have
so
the exact same experience where someone started talking to someone who works in Amazon Seattle, started talking about how in Bangalore they are trying to solve this massive problem, and the massive problem is 10 minutes grocery delivery. कि how to deliver grocery within 10 minutes, and उसने 4-5 ऐसे apps based companies के नाम बताया जो ये problem solve करें, and he was like, if this keeps happening, I will be so proud of India. And I was like, मैंने कुछ बोला नहीं, but I was thinking कि our idea of like problems that India faces and the problems that need to be solved are vastly
balcony वाला crowd है ना actually.
हाँ, like क्यों चाहिए तेरे को 10 मिनट में grocery? भाई क्या करेगा तू 10 मिनट में grocery लेके, मुझे बता.
Convenience plus I think of something and it arrives, it's great. Why are you dissing that?
I have heard stories where people have
Screw
literally.
you. I'm proud of India.
कोई ये बोल रहा है मुझे कि मैं कहीं गया अपने घर से, मैं अपना वॉलेट भूल गया, so I dunzoed it from my place to where I was.
Yeah.
ये हालत है.
I need
तो मेरा तो हो गया, wow, what an app. हाँ वो साला बेचारा जो
Blinkit.
10 रुपए में तुम्हारा वो लेके, हाँ Blinkit, yeah, same thing.
Blinkit. So it's crazy, right? So Blinkit. So that day I was wondering. So pandemic time pe we started using like these, and they exploded during this time, like the 10-minute delivery type, whatever. Zomato, Blinkit, all the things. Um, I realized how used to that I was recently, because I went to my local market after about 2 years, right? Local market. Like I now go to like a faraway market where I get like great fish and whatever produce once a week to get grocery, because Blinkit and all is extremely expensive. But I went to that market, local market, and I realized how much it had changed. And there's this regular vegetable wala who was there, who was, "Arey sir, aa gaye, come, lead me like, Arey, where are you? What?" I was like, नहीं हम दूर चले गए कहीं टोटल लाए दूर चले गए कहीं पे, and like अभी आए थे यहाँ पे
Yeah.
डोसा खाने, तो बोला कि आके थोड़ा वेजिटेबल शॉपिंग कर, and out of guilt I bought like grapes and whatever. I ended up spending on him more than I do with Blinkit. But I realized that life has become easier.
For
if you're living
you,
in Delhi,
yes.
yes,
Yeah,
for me specifically, I'm
Yeah.
privileged. It has.
yeah,
But then that's the thing. If I'm a privileged person who is living this easy life, who is getting everything when I throw money at it, why would I want to disrupt that?
But then that's then my next question to you is that, do you, not to you, but a person who's
okay,
politically,
I have to leave you
हाँ,
guys,
हाँ, but
Yeah.
I hope
चल
when I
बात
leave
करते हैं.
the recording wouldn't
नहीं, I don't think, I think it'll be fine.
okay,
हाँ,
okay,
चल हम
चलो
बात करते हैं.
चलो, thanks Meghnad, see you,
हाँ.
bye.
Yeah. Bye.
अपन भी थोड़ी देर में वो करेंगे, but so
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
then my
Just
next
minute,
question
yeah.
to you will be, do you know what developed means? Like when India becomes developed, do you know what because the moment it happens is when that person who's bringing stuff for you will start demanding a minimum wage, and that minimum wage will be something that will inherently make it very difficult for you to get those things done. That's the meaning of being in a developed economy where the per capita income is X number,
Correct.
and it's spread out in a way that even the guy who's जिसको मेरे डैड या कोई आता है तो they're fascinated कि जो जो घास काटता है सामने पब्लिक एरिया में वो भी कार में आता है, right? Because that will happen, and then
Yeah.
you will not have an easy access to a lot of these things. That
Of course.
so then are you no, and again it's not you, but I'm like, are you the apolitical guy ready for that kind of India?
That is why I feel like a lot of people choose to be ignorant, right? Which is, if you come to India, all these NRI, you have mentioned so many of these
Yeah.
tweets, etc., on your podcast
Yeah.
only, where all these NRIs who come to India for holidays, they are like, oh my God, so proud, UPI, delivery apps, the usual, like all these things are taking India forward. If you ask them ki, how much does this guy who is running around every day get? How much does the Uber driver get? How much, like, do you think that the income parity there is something that you should care about? Would you be someone who would stand up and actually fight for their rights? Would you actually support a law that ensures that there is a minimum ceiling which is paid to all gig workers? Would you do that? They won't, right? And they don't want to think about it, because then that means that the convenience is gone, right?
Huh.
For someone like me, I would support it, right? I would, right? And like, for example, a simple thing, I give tips, right, to Zomato and to Blinkit people, right? And I mean, it's like a $50, $100, whatever it is, right? It's also maybe to assuage my own guilt, right? Because I am also like sort of exploiting the system, which I should also be cursing at the same time, because it kind of goes against my basic core values. But that is the dichotomy that you're stuck in, which is, if you are aware and not ignorant, there is guilt, extreme guilt, because
Guilt.
you are a privileged person who is taking advantage of all these systems, which are extremely exploitative. Then capitalistic exploitation, late stage capitalism I'm talking about, right? Which is increasing income disparity by leaps and bounds.
I travel for work, and so I get to stay in a lot of hotels. And the same brand and the staff in the same brand in US and India behave so differently. Like in US, nobody gives a fuck. Like morning breakfast, जो buffet होता है,
Hmm.
right? Married,
Hmm.
जो भी कहीं का, it's there. You go, you serve yours. In India, you can literally ask people to bring stuff to you.
Oh yeah.
I have seen people like obsequious, ठीक है, एकदम ऐसे झुक के बात करना.
Yeah.
And those and NRIs are very okay. देखो इंडिया में ऐसा होता है, यूएस में तो किसी को फर्क नहीं पड़ता. क्यों फर्क नहीं पड़ता है? मेरे साथ क्या हुआ जब मैं मास्टर्स कर रहा था, मुझे पूरा यूएस का सिस्टम उतना अच्छे से पता नहीं था. तो me and a few friends, we went to a pizza place and got pizza, deep dish pizza, Chicago famous चीज था, and we paid our bill. And as we were walking out, the guy who served us, entitlement की बात करो, literally stopped us at the gate and he was like, what was wrong in my service? Why didn't you leave at least 20% tip? That's now people like an apolitical Indian will be like, इस इंडिया में किसी की हिम्मत होगी मुझे ऐसा बोलने की? इंडिया में
Exactly.
But a part of me is like, I understand they are as much a human as and
There's
they,
empathy there.
हाँ.
There's empathy. Like what you just described is basic human empathy, right? यहाँ पे किसको है boss? मतलब see, with ignorance, you have to ignore realities of a lot of people around you, right? There's this a tweet I was reading of some random thing about maids, domestic help, right? Which is someone was arguing with like a right winger, and they said that domestic helps need to be paid equally, or they need to be given leave. They were talking about menstrual leave, right? So they were like, do you give your maid a menstrual leave, right, when they ask for it? Like this Smriti Irani thing that happened, the whole thing. So the person is like, yeah, if they ask for it, I give them the menstrual leave. Like, oh, do you treat them equally as if like you treat everybody else? And the person is like, yes, I genuinely do. I try to give them leaves. I do everything that is required. And then they're like, liar. Okay, liar. Like you totally lied. Like the person is just telling you, and you just outright say it's a liar because what? You don't believe that this person can have empathy. Is that what it is? That oh no Indian will be able to treat their domestic health properly? Like this is a little bizarre to me, right? Which is I feel like there are people in India who have started treating people more empathetically, right? There are, and I know like my friends do it, I do it, everybody else around me who I feel are decent human beings do it, right? But at the same time, there are people who don't also. Like, I mean, I know like my parents, etc., who still don't to a large extent, right? But at the same time, when they see me doing it, it does have a profound change on them. Right? They're like, oh, like, and I tell them this that, no, I've given her a leave. It's like, how can she take a leave? I'm like, what are you saying? Why would she come like every day of the month? She needs a leave. Every week, I give her one leave. It's fine. Everybody gets a leave. Like sometimes she has to go somewhere. I give her money. I tell my mom, but like they will exploit you like this. I'm like, no, it's okay. I ask my boss for something. It's the same thing. Like she needs help. I do it. It's very sad that people have just stopped believing that people can be empathetic to each other.
That is also an effect of the overall environment that we constantly find ourselves in. Because even after saying all of it, think about a random day we spend and the amount of time it is spent in like consuming content on television. Well, maybe not for you or me, but like an average uncle is still watching Republic, and their world is still like angry. And like the thing that is the most interesting about this time that we are living in is that supposedly we're winning everything, and even then we are so angry at everything.
Oh yeah. That's actually very true. Like if you're winning at everything, that should make you more secure. But
Yeah.
actually, it's making you more insecure. It's just how does both these things work, right? But then again, nobody thinks about these things also. Eh,
Hmm.
So you are kind of secure in your
Hmm.
own way when you are like projecting your national identity and
Hmm.
feeling proud and everything, because it is at the end of the day feeling a very deep set insecurity within you. That is the function of that, right? Which is you're a Hindu, you're an Indian, you're a proud Vishwaguru person, whatever.
The way it comes out is all, but so just example from today. वर्ल्ड स्टैटिस्टिक्स बोल के कोई ट्विटर अकाउंट है जो ऐसे
I
स्टैटिस्टिक्स
know,
डालता
yeah,
है,
yeah.
तो उसका एक ट्वीट है, सही है गलत है आई डोंट नो, कंट्रीज विद द लार्जेस्ट अमाउंट ऑफ ग्लेशियर्स, ठीक है, और उसमें पाकिस्तान
Hmm.
नंबर 2 पे है। अब भाई उसके कमेंट सेक्शन में दिस इज लाई दिस, तेरे को क्या प्रॉब्लम है यार, इस चीज से तेरे को क्या प्रॉब्लम है?
हर्ट हो रहा है, हर्ट हो रहा है अंदर से, एंगर,
मोस्ट ऑफ दैट इज इन ऑक्यूपाइड टेरिटरी ब्रो।
Listen, you have worked. So, okay, I'm speaking from that
Yeah,
person's
yeah,
perspective,
yeah.
the comment. Right? I'm a person who has worked so hard to fill this void in my life by creating this
Yeah.
national identity and protecting the nation in my own way on the internet, on Twitter, wherever. Right? And this account dares to say something that I feel challenges my very identity. Of course, I'll react. Of course, मैंने बहुत काम किया है बस इस पे, बहुत मेहनत की है मैंने ये माइंडसेट बनाने के लिए. How
But
dare you? World
so
of statistics, whatever bullshit.
either you believe it's a fact or you believe it's a lie. If you believe it's a fact, it's a fact, you cannot fight facts. And if you believe it's a lie,
No, no, no,
then you
no.
just
No,
don't.
no. I see it as an insult. I don't see it as a fact. I don't see it as an opinion. I see it as an insult. That's the difference, right? So if you hear a statement on the internet which does not agree with your worldview, generally, you get emotionally activated, right? But as a rational person, a lot of times you sort of calm yourself down and say, okay, why did I do that? Like, this is fine. I can ignore it, right? I don't need to indulge in this or whatever. But if you're emotionally triggered, right, when you see like some statement that does not agree with your view, and you do not ever come out of it, that is when you feel insulted. That is when you react. That is when you feel this compulsion to react also. I think that is what is happening, right? Which is there is a lack of self-control there and rationality, where you are not able to keep your emotions at bay when you see something that is triggering, which is making you react, which is designed to make you react. You know who is great at this? Gabbar Singh.
हाँ ओ भाई मैंने I've tweeted out
Master.
कि he is a genius. He should do.
Master.
The thing is, you and I cannot do it because our empathy will
cannot.
stop you.
Yeah.
You know, there's some amount of like he will pick.
Also, you and I cannot do it because it also seems a little pointless.
Even if say I बोलूं कि मेरा 2024 का गोल है कि मेरे को मैं अपना बोल कि मेरे को 50K फॉलोअर चाहिए ट्विटर पे, मैं फिर भी नहीं कर
वैसे.
सकता, फिर भी नहीं हो सकता because for that you need a lens in like your eyes which you and I now don't have, unfortunately. Like,
Can you though?
Mhm.
I mean, so
How?
actively, if you say that
I've
your
thought
goal
about it.
is to get more followers, then you will do whatever you can to get those followers.
Well,
Which is an
that's the
Anand
thing.
Ranganathan model of things, right? I would say that is Anand Ranganathan, Gabbar Singh, whoever else you want to call it, right? You can basically suspend every and all ethical compulsions, rational compulsions, and still do it.
I don't. So this is where I fail, right? Because I'm being very honest. I've thought about it. Not thought about कि मेरे को मतलब 50 followers ये नहीं सोचा, पर मैं सोचा कि what is a template of a Gabbar tweet? I've thought about it. कि what exactly is it that riles people, and I can see it. I can kind of see what you know. He will basically like pick like random Pakistan Australia cricket खेलेगा, and he will pick a Muslim element of Pakistan. And
Yes.
he'll make a comment on it which has got nothing to do with the match or
Yeah.
the the video that is going on, right? एक तो वो कहाँ से लाया वो इतना मैं सोच शायद honestly like I cannot go there because for me I would not notice that, right? I would not see people that way. That will
That's
be the
also
person.
true. That's also true.
उसके बाद I don't know, like उसके political tweets are sometimes like things that he puts out are like I can kind of see how he does it, but
you don't know how to do it.
I cannot. And in fact, if I do it, so there's another thing to it. I can do it from like my lens. Like I can be as like I can make fun of that crowd, but some of it will actually like either get my account suspended or the next time I land in India, they'll like do something, because what he can say and from the POV that he says it is very safe right now. और वहां दूसरी तरफ वो एक लड़की राइट कौन जिसने वो ब्राह्मणिज्म के बारे में कुछ किया, जस्ट एन ओपिनियन मैन, लाइक उसको तो तुम लोग नौकरी खा गए तुम लोग, तो some of it is just I feel ki it's also like if this was slightly different, Gabbar needs BJP to be in power. Like why
Gabbar actually is the epitome of how you can build narratives also, right? Basically BJP also has this great skill. Like for example, I saw that mimicry thing. And again, the same thing, right? Mimicry, like all these people outside doing like mimicry, whatever. My first thought was not that, oh, the chairman has been insulted, or like, oh, I can like look at this and how BJP will use it to spin this or whatever. But the BJP knew how they can use it and how they can turn this into like this whole Desh ka insult, chairman ka insult, all the things. And the chairman also knew how to play it up and say that, oh, I'm the victim here. And I'm
वो सिखाया गया, चाचा को सिखाया गया by the way.
But जो भी है, चाचा को सिखाया भी गया है, तो किसी ने तो सिखाया है ना, वो narrative किसी ने तो भी घुसाया दिमाग में, right? और या फिर he came up with it, जो भी है, whatever it is, right? My thing is, I do not have that skill. I cannot look at it that way. It's a different worldview, as you said, right? Which is Gabbar finding all these things or these triggering things, which he knows are designed to trigger liberals. Like, so I'll give you another example. Shivarur. Shivarur also does this excellently, but also he started. There is this one post that he does, unpopular food opinion. Enjoy. A lot of enjoyment happens because sometimes he's like, Nihari is overrated or whatever, right? And he posts a picture of it. The triggered comments under it are insane, right? People get genuinely triggered, right? Again, he also knows how to do this. And he does it.
So
you and I don't know how.
Also, I'll pause you there. 1 minute, huh? So Gabbar का एक tweet I'm sure you have seen about इन लोग का बच्चा हुआ है रणबीर कपूर का, right? And the baby looks like Raj Kapoor, or and he had tweeted about how no matter like he उनका Kapoor genetics is something else, dominant strain that no matter who it mixes with, whatever. And then he's taken it too because they are Dhai Ghar Khatris and they are the people who stood up to Alexander, blah blah blah. Now someone like you, maybe I will not react, but like someone leftist will say ये साला casteist बात कर रहा है, ये साला ऐसी बात कर रहा है, and they will find flaw in the argument that he's making, and then he will say कि साला ये देखो, and his argument will be I am just talking about India's pride and you have a problem with that, and that's how the narrative will be. Yeah. So enough plausible deniability and just hinting at something. Now, can I do it? I can do it. So I'll tell you an example. When India loses the World Cup final, after like being talked off as such a great team that I'm sure you are aware of all that, right? I can say कि yeah, maybe it's just something in our genetics that we are just not primed to beat countries who are more developed than us and they are taller and broader and blah blah blah. I can do that. But the moment I do that and like I'm still hinting, but even that hint will create like ये है ये लिब्रांडो इसको ये सोचता है इंडियंस के बारे में, हमने ये किया. So So that is the difference. That is why you and I cannot be that. Huh. His success is as much a factor of where we are as a society. Ultimately, I mean, I'm sure you've done this, right? When you do your live streams and videos, you see how many numbers it hits. Compare yourself. I'm sorry, don't hate me, but
But
compare yourself to a Sham Sharma and see, like, have you compared numbers?
yeah, lots
Yeah.
more.
So that's a factor of the environment also, right?
It's okay. I do think I know where you're coming from, right? Which is for example, I did Constitution,
Hmm.
like 2016 I had wild dreams back then, where I was like, "अरे मैं ये episode करूँगा anti-defection पे, people don't even know, it'll go viral." No, it didn't. Right. After that, also I did a few reports, "अरे ये viral जाएगा." No, it didn't. The first video that I ever did, which went viral, was a story on Sadhguru. Because I was criticizing it, and of course these Isha people came in and shat all over it, but also watched it. So yeah, 1 million, right? And then after that, I realized that listen, no matter how much I try, how much I do basically smart content or whatever it is, I will never be that popular because मेरे वो ability नहीं है मेरे, right? And I don't want to do it also now. Like I'm leaning into what I'm good at. So I tried to do that with IVM. I tried to do that News Laundry, where I'm trying to create quote unquote popular content, which I think will do well on YouTube. I tried to design it that way, all the things. But now I'm realizing for the last 3 months since I started my channel, is that I just want to create content for myself now. I'll see. Like, I mean, it just makes me happier, right? मेरे को ये ऐसे ही करना है. मेरे को एक राजीव चंद्रशेखर और बियर बाइसेप्स का 10 सेकंड का सेंटेंस उठा के I want to make an hour long video. Why not? Right?
No,
And
ultimately, that is the only way to survive. Because
it makes you happier. It keeps me saner and happier. Plus, I don't have this incessant need to please people. Right? I feel like we also have that inherent
of
thing as
course,
Indians,
of
right? Which
course,
is like
everybody.
we want to
It's
we want to please the authority mainly, right? And it's really I mean it's a combination of a bunch of things, right? You asked me about Sham Sharma or whoever it is, right? They like if someone asked me on live stream today, what is your opinion on Tanmay Bhatt and why doesn't he talk about politics, right? He has such a giant audience. And I'm like, privilege. Simple answer, right? And privilege and also convenience. A lot of people just want convenience now, which is like, खुद का सोचो, खुद के survival के बारे में सोचो. That's it. Because nobody else is thinking of you anyway. You're in this shit situation where everybody will mistreat you the first chance they get. So what do? You just think of your own well, and that is what it is.
on that note, on that happy
Yes.
note, let's conclude.
Yes.
I mean, we could go on
Yes.
forever.
No, but I do
But
have to have dinner still.
one last thing that I got is to go viral. And again, as someone who's never gone viral, I just think you have to make sure that a section of people are outraged. It could be now, like, because ultimately, like even Sham Sharma, right? What is exactly happening? He's basically picking something. वो देखो वो मुसलमान ये कर रहे हैं या like there the right wing, even Gabbar is like his whole thing is making people angry. And Gabbar is great at making everyone angry, even in his like that Kapoor tweet. He will make the Bhakt group angry because they will see how the Librandus are reacting to it. So everybody is angry. So, but also, if you start doing it, your jaan ko khatra will happen.
No, but also, I feel like that is so when you are someone who is doing that actively, which is making people angry, emotionally triggering people, or giving opinions which are meant to trigger people, right? A Shivarur or these Gabbar Singh types, or even like our entire Godi media, right? They're designed to trigger you, right? The shareability does increase, but at the same time, I feel shitty about myself. I have that inherent, I don't know, it's this inherent feeling now that I need to be kinder to people. I need to be hopeful. I need to be kinder to people, and I don't want to trigger them. Even the trolls that come to my live streams, they come in with an intention to trigger me, right? And sometimes I'm so proud of myself for not getting triggered and also working in a way that I also calm them down. कि भाई I know you want attention, take attention. It's okay, I get it, right? But थोड़ा सा vocabulary बढ़ाओ, थोड़ा सा ये करो, थोड़ा सा वो करो. I insult them a little bit, right? But I have seen like people come back and say that no, listen, I do have a question for you, right? You know, I do have to say something. And there are some people who become regulars there. So I'm also like sort of trying to counter this, right? Which is actively like, you know, this whole habit of constantly triggering people on social media or on the internet or etc. etc. I want to be a counter to that. I don't want to do it, and I will tell people not to do it also, and I will actively not do it myself.
And there has to be, like, if we keep talking about being better, there has to be a better way. This is not,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, you know.
Yeah.
On that note,
Okay, sir.
I will let
Yes.
you go. Marks
Yes.
बाबा की जय बोल के निकलते हैं.
बिल्कुल.
Okay.
चलो, bye,
Take
sir.
care. Bye.
That was fun.